I've got the latest and greatest buttstock from Magpul on the table today, as well as Superlative Arms' innovative adjustable gas blocks. That, plus more barrels from KAK Industry than I can even fit on the table on this week's Gear Grind. Let's take a look at the new Magpul DT dual tension carbine stock, a product improved version of the tried and true CTR. It's actually the same price. Fit. The DT carbine stock slips onto any mil-spec carbine buffer tube, standard stuff. Installing the stock is pretty simple. You basically just pull the tab up here, hook the short end of an Allen wrench into this metal part down here, pull it down, and slide it the rest of the way onto the buffer tube, where it locks securely and firmly into your desired position. Let's talk about that and the DT's namesake. Feel. Once the stock is installed and you let your finger off the lever, you'll notice the fit is rattle-free. This is because the DT carbine basically has an additional function to place tension on the buffer tube without the need of an extra lever like the classic CTR stock. So it sits firmly in place even when you're on the move, banging into stuff, etc. Plus, the butt pad is actually more comfortable than the CTR in my opinion, with a contoured heel for driving into your shoulder pocket, similar to the SL stocks if you're familiar with those. Form. In getting rid of the extra lever for the CTR stock, the DT stock feels a lot less cluttered and gives it a more minimalist look despite being fully featured. It's super slick in terms of looks, more like a Mo stock more than anything, but you can kind of tell there's more going on just in terms of the butt pad on the rear, QD sockets, and the reinforcement on the body. One of Magpul's goals was to make this a really durable stock too, so it's a little extra thick around the edges. Function. Once you get this stock mounted up, you end up with a nice, straightforward stock that nestles easily into your shoulder pocket. No issues with the dual tension mechanism being difficult to operate or coming loose over time either. Plus, you get two QD sling cups for either side, as well as an M-lock slot you can use as a footman's loop if you prefer a quieter, old-school sling setup. Plus, if you want to soften up recoil a bit more, the new SL butt pad replacements fit this stock. Features. The dual tension mechanism in this stock is a really cool improvement, which not only enhances function, but aesthetics. Magpul has a really mature product line. They make a ton of great products, and with this new iteration on their stocks, I think they've nailed what people love about Magpul. Simplicity, efficiency, great looks, all at a price that won't raise too many eyebrows. It's a good value and a straight upgrade to a proven product. Next, I've got a spread of barrels on the table from KAK Industry, which is just part of their super diverse selection across a number of AR-friendly calibers. Fit. KAK Industries' AR-15 and AR-10 style barrels seem to fit in all the uppers I tested them in. Forged or billet, the AR-15 stuff locks in nicely, and for your larger frame receivers such as the Aero M5, the AR-10 stuff locks in nicely as well. Pretty much all of these use a 750 diameter gas block, and anything that uses a gas system comes with a dimple right from the factory for ease of installation and long-term reliability. Feel. Another good thing about these KAK barrels, the profiles make sense. Nothing here is a pencil barrel, but in particular, the OE spec line doesn't have any front-heavy government profiles, which is a big plus. A lot of the shorter barrels have a pretty heavy profile, but when you're talking about something from 5 to 8 inches long, the shape of the barrel matters less and less for weight distribution. Pretty much anything here will give you the stability needed for a good suppressor host too. Form. All the KAK barrels I've gotten to expect personally have a really great finish, no matter what you might choose. The vast majority are a clean black nitride finish, but you also have stainless steel stuff which has a matte bead blasted look. The stainless models typically leave the area for your gas block polished, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is these barrels have a really nice finish to go with a broadly compatible fit, and they'll work for pretty much whatever build you have in mind. Function. Now, I will readily admit I don't have first-hand experience with absolutely everything on the table. I've got a really fun job, but it's not that fun. So what I will say is that KAK Industry makes great products, not just for their own brand, but for brands across the firearms industry. Having reliable products that work is an absolute must to play in that field. And even playing with things like their micro-length gas systems like you see here on sub 6-inch AR barrels, yeah, they have those, KAK makes products that work. Something to keep in mind, a lot of those shorter barrels or short gas systems for the length of the barrel, 12.5-inch mid-length comes to mind, those are more suppressor optimized barrels. So if you don't have a can yet, be prepared for some hiccups until you can thread one on. Features. For me, the biggest appeal for KAK barrels is the sheer selection you have available. For 5.56 and 308 alone, you have tons of options for different lengths, finishes, and lengths of gas system. And when you move into 300 blackout, same kind of thing. Good selection for 9mm and even more niche AR-10 calibers like 358 and 243 Winchester. I would say KAK has some of the biggest selection out there, all coming in at pretty reasonable prices with some great builder-friendly features. If you put your mind to it, KAK has the tools for you. So we've got a huge selection of barrels, but what about fine-tuning some of these gas systems? For that, we have the adjustable Superlative Arms gas blocks with their unique bleed-off mode. Fit. One of the great things about the Superlative Arms product line is how damn diverse it is. You can get these gas blocks with a standard set screw design coming in from the bottom or clamp-on versions coming in from the sides. And these come in at 625, 750, 875, and 936 to cover pretty much any AR-15 or AR-10 barrel you want to mount them on. Not only that, but this smart, sleek design fits under a vast majority of free float handguards. If you're not sure about fit, Superlative Arms provides drawings with dimensions, and we've got them on our store too. Point being, pretty much whatever AR you want to build, you can find a gas block to suit your needs. Feel. Making the adjustments on this gas block feels really good. Positive and tactile clicks on every setting. Getting under the handguard is pretty easy with the included hex key, which is the perfect size if you've got, say, a 15-inch handguard and a 16-inch barrel with a mid-length gas system. Covers pretty much any rifle out there with a free float rail being made today, and pretty much anyone building from scratch. As far as how it feels in use, these gas blocks perform as advertised, reducing the amount of gas in the rifle, making a softer recoil impulse overall. Form. One cool thing about these gas blocks is that they've got a variety of shades available to you. You've got your black nitride, matte stainless, and some new SKUs with a tan shade. All of these have a very professional fit and finish, which is what you should expect from a $90 gas block. And the design is still very sleek, especially compared to some of the competition. Most of you are going to be sliding this under a handguard, so looks aren't a top priority, but if you do opt for the exposed gas block look, you really won't have to worry about hiding your shame here. Function. So 30 settings on a gas block sounds a little intimidating at first, but once you get the initial setting dialed in, these blocks work great. If you've never used an adjustable gas block before, you want to close off the gas block and gradually open it up until you can fire one shot that holds open in your magazine on the last round. And from there, just open it up one setting higher for reliability. This will allow you to run your rifle with a perfectly tuned gas system and keep the overall mass down since you aren't progressively using heavier buffer weights. Now, the unique feature about the Superlative Arms gas block is the bleed-off mode. This basically lets you vent gas out the front of the gas block instead of blowing it into the receiver, which reduces fouling, heat, and makes for a more reliable system. Features. Superlative Arms' big claim to fame is the bleed-off mode, and that's for very good reason. You can find a less expensive adjustable gas block, but no one else really has the bleed-off feature specifically. Especially for guys who are shooting suppressed, having the option to reduce the gas blowing back into the system and having a huge range of adjustment for fine-tuning your rifle is a huge advantage. Likewise for competition, having the gas bleed out the front will allow your rifle to perform better and longer in a match setting. Hopefully this one gets your gears turning about a new build or refreshing an existing rifle. The past few weeks I've been all about the AR, but next time I've got my eyes on some new pistol upgrades, so stay tuned for that.